Here we are, and welcome to the training, guys. Let's do this. I'm going to hit the record. We're going to talk about pitching and packaging and pricing chatbots. All right, and I want to share with you the things that have helped me to really, frankly, start a chatbot agency and have people come to me every day looking to have their chatbots built. And I was just talking to my partner today, and we were going over our stuff, and he was pitching, our chatbots, our chatbot white label services, basically where, we actually will build your chatbot for you so that you guys can just go out and sell them. And what's cool is he was like, yep, they didn't even bat an eye. They were totally on board. And so I want to help you guys to have a mindset that I think is important to be able to start pitching these things, and then also to have a strategy and then some of the tactics to go out there and start doing it as well. So let's just dive in, and if you guys have questions, definitely throw those down there. If you guys are in the accelerator program, you guys have access to this. Can you guys hear me now? Hopefully, is there any sound here? Sound is good. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. So let's talk about packaging, pricing, and pitching. And I guess what we'll just dive into, because you guys are here in the program, so let's just dive into this here. Okay, let's just dive into, oops. Let's just dive into this one. All right, so this was actually a sheet that I made for my my partner who handles most of the sales, so that he could be able to just know what it is that we offer. Because I'm the builder, I'm the kind of the nerd behind the scenes, and he is the one that's out there pitching them, right? So I wanted to be able to help him understand what it is that we offer and what it is that people are paying for when they're buying, right? And so what's beautiful about chatbots is that, I'll start off with this, is that there are so many options in terms of what you can offer, right? You can take like the website model in the sense that they charge a large one-time setup fee, and then oftentimes there's a nominal, if any, maintenance retainer fee. But because of the nature of the website, they build it one time, and it needs very little maintenance. Otherwise it's an otherwise static kind of platform. And the great thing about this is that chatbots, when you build them, they can be static. They can be absolutely something that you build once and you give it to them, and it just converts, and it just does the things that it's supposed to, similar to how a website would be. Now, the other way, though, is kind of taken more from like a Facebook marketer's model, or someone who does PPC or SEO, in the sense that those things are done over time. Those things are done over a period of time, and it builds. It's really a thing, something that builds, right? And so there's no right way. People ask me, what do I do? Do I do it one time, or do I do it over a retainer? And the question that you have to ask is, what do you want for your own business? The question that you have to ask is, what do you actually want to happen? Do you want like customers that you work with consistently over and over and over again, and they are, you're kind of working for them essentially, right? Or do you want to have something where you can build it one time, get some cash, and then go off and hang out, and then there's kind of this kind of different mindset, right? It's almost like a hunting mindset for this one-time fee, because if you have a one-time setup fee, well, that's awesome, because you can get a large lump sum, which might tie you over for a little while. But then ultimately that money is going to be invested, that money is going to be used, there's going to go, some expenses or whatever it is. So then you're going to have to go out hunting again. And that's kind of how the hunting cycle is that you go out, you hunt, you eat, and then as soon as you're hungry again, you go out and hunt again, right? Whereas the retainer model is closer to farming, in the sense that it's something that may take a little bit longer, because what you're asking people to do is just a little bit higher of a commitment. And when you're starting out, naturally, there's going to be people who are there's always going to be some level of attrition, right? I was talking to one of the someone who he invests hundreds of millions of dollars, and people invest hundreds of thousands of dollars with him. And he's known as Mr. Smiles. He has an 87% churn rate, or excuse me, consistency rate. So I mean, that's 13% leave. So he always is actively finding new investors because he knows a percentage of them are going to move on. And similarly, in any type of retainer capacity, there's going to be some churn. So you're always going to have to be selling at some point. But the thing is that with this hunting model, right, which is a kind of a one-time setup, usually you're able to ask for a little bit larger of a a little bit larger of a setup. And because you're not going to be asking for anything after that, right? So you put all of it into that setup. All right, so let's see if we have any accelerator questions. So let's keep going. Okay, so if you guys have questions about the packaging and you're on the live call, throw those into either the Q&A if it's something that you want to make sure that gets answered, or the chat will do as well. The second thing is that we've got 3 different types of bots, right? So we've got at least what I have offered, and this can kind of encompass everything that when I think about it, right? So the 3 bots that I have in my mind, right, or that we offer as an agency are basic, advanced, and premium bots, right? Those are the 3. And so if we zoom out here, you can see that obviously with the basic bots, right, those are bots that, you can see it has the basic stuff, and the premium obviously has more. So let's go into each of those, right? Because the wonderful thing is that if you are just starting out, you can offer these basic bots and get started really, really quickly and sell a few of them really, really quickly, get some profit, and then, move up, right, as your skill level increases. So the basic bot is what you kind of think about, what you probably know how to do. You build a bot in ManyChat, you build a bot in Chatfuel, any of these other platforms that are coming out, right? And what it has is, for a basic bot, you want it to be like an autoresponder, like an automation system, like an answering machine, right? So what you want to do though is you want to give the client something that they can actually, it's kind of self-contained though, right? And what I mean by that is that it has everything it needs. So what it needs is it needs opt-in tools, right? Opt-in or subscription tools. It also needs content, and then it needs follow-up, right? Those are the 3 things. So if we're breaking them up into kind of 3 different sections, every bot needs 3 things. Every bot needs a way for someone to get into the bot. Every bot needs content that's going to happen and that they're going to experience when they're in the bot. And then the third is the follow-up that's going to follow up based on the interaction that they already had. So there's 3 components that you are actually selling to the customers. And the basic bots, right? The basic bots have all of those. They just at a very elementary, basic level that doesn't require a whole lot of tech, no coding, or isn't complicated, nor is it going to require necessarily a whole lot of time. So you'll notice that what we have is we have opt-in or subscription tools. Now, people aren't going to necessarily know what that means. So I put there links, right? How easy is it to create a growth tool link? Landing pages. How quick is it to create a ManyChat landing page, right? QR messenger code. Super simple. So I tell them they're going to get these things, right? Then I also tell them that they're going to get a 5-message follow-up sequence, right? And so what I'm telling them, what I want to let them know is that, yes, they're going to be able to come in. Yes, we're going to have something for them to play with, to interact with when they're here, but then we're also going to do a follow-up, right? We're actually going to do a follow-up with them as well. So this is kind of what we're presenting. And if it's a local business, you'll see that we kind of talked about it as like services. And so for our basic bot, we're like, for us, you can make your own decisions. But what we said, because we wanted to give people want a clear idea of what it is that they're going to get. And so we tell them, here is what you're going to get. And what we do is, for the basic bot, we limit it to 1 product, 1 service, basically 1 call to action or 1 funnel. We want this bot to be one funnel that captures them for a certain point, that converts them for a certain particular offer or particular product, and then gives them a call to action to that particular product, right? That's what we want to do. At least for the basic one. We don't want to get too complicated with our basic ones, because we want them to know what it's going to do, and we want it to be good at what it does, right? Now, if they're like, well, Hector, I'm a local business, and we offer multiple services. We have this and this and this, and we also do this. What can we do there? Okay, Well, Mr. Business Owner, totally we can do that. That's what we're gonna talk about, our advanced, or excuse me, we call it our advanced bot, right? And the advanced bot, what's beautiful about the advanced bot is that you can see here, what we do is we upgrade the amount of like funnels that we're doing. Okay, so if you want a dentist funnel, or you want a teeth whitening funnel, okay, perfect. And then you also want a I don't know. I'm not in the dentist industry. So let's say, like, for real estate agents, right? Let's say that you wanted, so let's say you wanted a buyer funnel, right? And then you wanted a seller funnel, and then you wanted a open house funnel. Like, let's say you want those 3 things built for you. Okay, well, that's more than just one. So that's where we get into the advanced bot, right? If they have multiple things, multiple funnels that they want, multiple follow-ups specifically that they want built, right? Because that's what's most important for a bot to be effective, is the follow-up. Because people come into bots and then they get busy. Something comes up, the bus gets there, their Starbucks is ready, their food's ready, grandma calls. What we got to do is we got to follow up with them, right? And so the more things that we're following up with them on, obviously the more time it's going to take and the more value that has for the business. Okay. Anais, this is recorded. This is definitely recorded. And is any of this like making sense? I don't know. Like this is the first time that I'm giving this kind of talk all in one. So if this is like, Hector, what the hell are you talking about? Please tell me that. Or if this is making sense, let me know that too, because that's helpful. So after that though, right, what more can the advanced bot do? Or what more can we offer with the advanced bot? Well, what a lot of business owners want is they want their leads, they want their appointments, they want things to like be easy and accessible for them. And frankly, ManyChat, although it may be easy enough for us to understand, Chatfuel may be simple enough for a marketer to understand. Well, most business owners aren't going to want to take the time, nor are they going to necessarily be motivated to learn a brand new system. So what an advanced bot does is an advanced bot can now take all of that information, all of the responses that have come from that conversation, and can now put them into some sort of accessible database, accessible file, and accessible format for that particular customer. And what I mean by that is that, like, now you can put it into a Google Sheet, or we'll email it to them, or we'll text it to them, or we will automatically set up a scheduling system for them. Like, there's lots of these different things that we will do. I think my Amazon package is here. Guys, it's okay. It's all right. Sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear my dogs, but they're getting all crazy. So helping a customer to understand, all right, well, what we're going to offer is you're not going to have to go into ManyChat. You're not going to even have to go into your Facebook inbox. What we're going to do is we're going to take all of the interested people, all of the people who registered, all of the people who signed up, all of the people who booked an appointment, all the people or who took that next step and are actually interested. Well, those people are going to be populated to a Google Sheet. Those people are going to be put into your CRM. Those people are going to be emailed and texted, like there's this other information where what we do for our real estate agents, when they get a lead in, well, all of a sudden they get a text message and an email that says, hey, here's this person, here's their name, their phone number, their email, here's all the relevant information that you need to have a call with them, go ahead and follow up. And so when they get that, now all of a sudden they just read that email, and then they, as the business owner, know what to do. And so for these advanced bots, really offering them something that where they don't have to do anything, right? That's a really a big value add for customers. So Karen asks, are you having the client set up ManyChat, Zapier, or other side systems? So one thing that we try and bring in our value so that we can offer more is the fact that they don't have to do anything, right? We like business owners like done for you, and people are willing to pay for things that they don't have to do, right? Think about Uber, think about Lyft. It's not really that much more affordable. I don't think it's actually more affordable than driving, but people will pay to not have to drive, right? Like, even people who have cars take Ubers and Lyfts some places to not have to drive. And so similarly, we can charge more for things that people do not have to do. And so what we set up as much of those things as we can, right? We set up the ManyChat account for them because all we need is admin access to their business page, editor access even really to their business page, and then we can set up their ManyChat, but admin is better. What else? And then from there, that's really what we do. So Zapier, if it's a couple of zaps, and all we're doing is we're just zapping, the information, especially like in ManyChat and stuff like that. We just work that into our costs, right? Because we have a Zapier Pro plan. I think we pay like $20 a month, and then we're able to have like 100 zaps. Or I don't even know the number. Don't quote me on those prices. I wish Zapier had a fucking affiliate program, but they don't. So, anyways, my point is, point being is that we set that up for them so that they don't have to, and that's a value add. And instead of making them pay the $20 to set up a Zapier account, I would much rather put on an extra $100 a month and say that they don't have to do anything, right? And do that for them. So we work all that into our fees as much as possible. Cool, great question, Karen. So Audrey said, for these bots that you're selling, are you also including ads to drive traffic to the bot? Or are you telling them that they have to do that? That is one thing that we as an agency offer. Now, you do not have to offer Facebook ads to as a bonus or as a part of this, right? And the reason I say that for two reasons. The first is, well, okay, this is just a great topic. So the first is, let's talk about why you don't need to do it, right? The first is that it's a pain in the ass to have to learn, right? And it's a big pain in the ass to have to learn. There's a lot of stuff, and you have to constantly be learning. And even for me, as I've gone into bot building, I've stopped like keeping up on the new Facebook ad stuff, and it's like I'm behind. So it's constantly you need to be learning, and so there's that commitment. Now, once again, if you decide to take that on, it allows you to charge a higher price, or it allows you to be able to offer something, as an upsell. Secondly, is that what is beautiful about bots is that they do not have to pay for Facebook ads in order to get traffic, right? A lot of brick and mortar businesses, a lot of, like physical stores, they already have traffic, right? Like that's where traffic, like the word comes from, like physical people driving by. And so if they're a physical store, they either have traffic like going by them, they have people walking into their store, they have ways that, and what's beautiful about a chatbot is through reference URLs, through messenger codes, through their website, through these other alternative methods, they can actually get subscribers. So you do not have to offer ads with it. If they already know, what you can do is, like, for example, a restaurant, that you can have them set up little placards, right? Like I think about Chili's does a terrible job of it, right? No, excuse me, Olive Garden does a terrible job of asking for emails. They have this little, like, they pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for these little like computer, like little smart little tablet systems, right? That are basically there just to capture your email. And so you could do something so much easier, that's so much cheaper, that doesn't require anything, that on a little piece of paper that's sitting at their table, it has their messenger code, and it says, hey, do you want a free dessert on your next visit? Pull out your phone, follow these directions, scan this code, and boom, right? They don't have to pay anything. They're already just using, they can put a fucking big messenger code on their window, right? Like, think about that, right? Like, that's like, there's some business is gonna do it, right? Like, because there were people putting QR codes everywhere. Well, this is kind of the same thing, but better. Audrey, hopefully that answered your question as well. Chris and Karen asked, how to prevent sneaky clients to not do it by themselves. So we give people and clients only access as much as they need and ask for, and then all the other part, we sell it to them in the fact that they don't have to do anything, right? Because if we like our clients usually don't have access to the bot, right? They don't have access to the admin, to the chatbot. Obviously, if they went on ManyChat and Chatfuel, they could go in, create an account, and then get access, right? But most of the time, they're not going to do that. I mean, most of the time it's so difficult just getting people admin access to a bot, so we don't even try unless they really ask. Second thing is that we like to run all of the ads off of our ad account, and we only give them analyst access if they really want it. Otherwise, we just send them reports and we run it right off of our ad account. But other than that, I mean, we retain the rights over their intellectual property, right? Unless it's discussed. Now, we have had clients who said in the negotiating process, hey, what if this happens? And, do I get to keep all, do I get to keep the subscribers? Do I get to keep the bot and stuff? And it's like, well, that's a negotiating chip, right? Okay, well, let's talk about it, right? Because that's going to factor into the price. If you're going to take this when you leave me, well, hell, we got to talk. We need to discuss that, right? And I'm okay with it if it's brought up in the beginning. But if in the middle, like we've had somebody, a couple of months in, didn't understand it. Now let me preface this, okay? The first month in, we got them 500 subscribers to their bot, okay, with less than $300 in ad spend. So let me just preface that. However, $500 subscribers in a real estate niche and for $300 in ad spend in 1 month wasn't good enough. So they called us and they said, you know what, this isn't working. We said, you know what, you're all right, fine. Like we're not gonna make this a crazy divorce. But they said, can we get access to all the stuff? And we said, no. Well, that wasn't like, this is not something that you factored in. So if we want to talk about that, we need to talk about that moving forward. So I think that one of the questions that came up here is having, do you need a contract? And absolutely some sort of written agreement, right, that is signed and agreed upon and is absolutely huge. Now, are those agreements and are those contracts going to prevent you from getting fucked? Not 100%, right? Like, no, like we still use contracts and people still pull crazy shit all the time. And you know what? It is what it is. But having some sort of agreement in place will definitely hedge that, right? And hinder that and make things clear. And it'll allow you that if things get bad enough to have something to be able to go back on, right? So absolutely, written agreements are huge, and using things like LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer or all of these kind of they basically internetized the legal kind of industry, and so you can get help and you can get a really good contract from one of these places for like 30-40 bucks and it be legit and it be an actual contract that has some weight because it was created by what I mean. So these things are absolutely important when you guys are doing it, to make sure that there is clarity and expectations in what the person is actually doing. I find that the biggest reason, and here's just a kind of a tangent and a side note, the biggest reason that people stick around or do not is two things. The first is expectations. Were their expectations met? Did they have different expectations about what they were actually going to get and what they actually, if you prep someone, if you have terrible results, your first week, but you prep someone, you said, hey, it's going to take a few weeks for us to test and figure things out. So, by the first month, we're probably not going to be rolling, totally there yet. But if you give it, by the second or third month, we should have everything dialed in. And then your first week, you don't have, good results. Well, all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is what we expected, right? Whereas if they're expecting you to turn it on and them to have, 10 sales the very first day, and that doesn't happen, well, now all of a sudden their expectations are not met. The second reason why I've seen people, not stick around is because they don't feel like they're being cared for, right? And this is a very challenging thing for me because people feel cared for in different ways. And so making sure that you have someone or you who is really, really understanding of where the client is in terms of their mindset and what it is that they're looking for, and also helping them to not the next person that we're bringing onto our team is probably an account manager, because I'm going to flip a shit every time, one of our clients reaches out about something because they have, a stupid, silly question. So you need to make sure that those interactions, right? I myself, having to delete messages or not respond to things for a while because I don't want to blow the relationship. Because clients are challenging sometimes. I mean, when we get in the service business, I mean, that's really what we sign up for. And that's why I'm okay doing that. And but because we are, it's a service, right? We're serving them. that's okay, but understand that comes along with the territory. All right, let's see. All right, any questions on that? Go ahead and throw those down there. Let's see here. I want to wrap up let's see here. We're on pricing. Okay, packaging, pricing, and pitching. Okay, cool. So if you guys have any questions about that, you guys can throw those down there. If you're catching this by happen on the Facebook Live, this is for our accelerator program, but I'm in a giving mood, so I streamed it to y'all. But I don't know if we're going to do this all the time because they can't. Usually we get to hang out and talk and see everybody's faces, but it's all right. It's a trade-off, right? So let's keep moving here. The last thing we want to talk about is premium bots, right? Because what I love about chatbots is that we're in the 1.0 version of it, guys. We are in, do you remember in school when you had like the black screen and the white letters and it was like all you could do was type in a straight line and it was like there was no mouse really and it was just like you hit like that's where we are in terms of chatbots, right? Like it's really in the rudimentary level. Let me give you a glimpse of where it's going so that you guys can start to, and I don't want to scare you because some of you guys are going to go, oh my goodness, how am I going to get to that point? Remember, there's time, and then there's also ways to leverage other people who are smart enough to be able to do these things. But let me give you a glimpse into the future because a lot of people are like, oh, chatbots are dead. Chatbots are stupid. Chatbots are they're a gimmick. They're they're just they're like a fidget spinner or something like that. Whatever, they're not going to stick around. And here's the thing, okay? It happens every single time. People say that about the internet. They say that about social media. What I would tell you is that look at the progression and the way that 1-800 numbers have developed, right? You used to have the 1-800 number and you used to have to press 1 and then you go, press 1 to listen to this, press 2 to listen to this, and you would be sitting there like, fucking A, get to the right question that I want, right? And then now and if you look at the progression now, you call up and it's like, just tell me what you want to do. And you're like, what do you mean? And you're like, yeah, I can understand. Just tell me what you want to do. You're like, I want to do this. Then it's like, and it does, it calculates it. And then all of a sudden it takes you to the right place. Well, similarly, right, chatbots right now are in that 1.0 stage. The second stage of it is it's going to get easier and easier to implement things like dialogue flow so that your chatbot can actually understand intent. And instead of just using quick replies, and instead of just using this these kind of buttons to engage, it will actually allow your person to be able to interact with it, right? It'll actually allow you to be able to, for that person to respond back in a text, and for that chatbot, it's already happened. You can do it with Dialogflow right now. It's just, it requires some coding and some programming and some connecting, and it's only available really on Chatfuel, so it's a little difficult for most marketers right now. However, it's gonna get easier for the NLP to be incorporated into chatbots. Now, the second phase of that though, right? The next phase of that is, well, all of a sudden, if you think about how text is kind of 1.0, right? Voice is 2.0, right? So voice is 2.0. So imagine your person literally being able to send a voice message to your chatbot, that chatbot using the software that Google Translation does, that to interpret all of these things, and then be able to spit back information. So it's like, it's getting to that point where now it's going to be able to interpret, like, okay, so voice, right? That's maybe 2-3 years, okay? But you can see where it's going, right? But if you're here now, it's not like you're going to get out of the chatbot business anytime soon. And these things are only going to get more, advanced, right? Now, the next thing is it's going to integrate with things like augmented reality, with things like virtual reality. So imagine now showing up to a mall, right? And then pulling out your phone, and then there being an augmented reality, like it already happens right now where you pull out your phone and then you hover over like a shirt or something like that, and like a video plays or whatever. Well, what if you hover over a shirt and then the chatbot pops up, pops up and says, hey, what are you looking for? What size are you? Here's all these, like it's gonna get super interactive. And then, right, the next level is when virtual reality happens. Well, people put on the goggles, then they walk into a virtual storefront, and then all of a sudden, Kelly, who is a 19-year-old college student who was hired, to work at the store, hates her job anyways, is going to be replaced by Kali, who is a 19-month-old chatbot, you know, who loves her job, who is super enthusiastic, who knows all the answers, right? And so these things are going to get more and more and more advanced. And so for you as a marketer, if you're here, if you can now offer these things to businesses, right, even at the basic level, right? Remember, we started off here at the basic level. I'm glad I did that because I want to ground some people here. Because, you know, even if we offer them at the basic level, remember what you can do. If you build a basic chatbot, a basic demo bot that takes you 20 minutes and you connect a few links and you put together a little menu with a carousel and galleries and a few pictures, people are blown away by that, right? People are absolutely blown away by, oh my goodness, you know how to do this. So if you can now offer these things and stay in the game and stay engaged and say, hey, this is what I can offer now, you can build your skills, right, to you know, to like take on these advanced or premium stuff. But I got to tell you, for me, I realize this, and I bump up against this wall. And I'm a marketer. I'm not a developer. I'm not a coder. I'm not nearly smart enough as some of these people who are coding all this crazy shit. And so what I did is I brought someone onto my team who was way smarter than I am, and who will be able to code things way crazier than ever I could ever imagine, and included into a chatbot. So the reason I say this for you is that, yes, I'm someone that you can go to, obviously. Here's a quick little plug. But there are going to be more and more chatbot companies where if you have a client, you need a chatbot built for them, they'll build it for you, right? That's what we do, right? We have people who they're like, hey, here's my client. I want to give them a chatbot because I see the benefits of it. It would make me look better as their marketing agent, consultant, or whatever. So can you build a chatbot? And that's what we're actually, you know, that's what this is for. You know, so similarly, those premium bots can do lots of different things. So for example, we have a real estate bot right now that integrates with Zillow's API and Google Maps API. So what it does is when they put in an address, it'll go in and grab the picture from Google Maps, and it'll go and talk to Zillow to find out what the home rates and the home values are around there. We're working on a bot right now that's going to be like a recommender system like Netflix and kind of like Pandora, where like if you type in like, hey, I like Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Well, it's going to give you more content like Gary Vaynerchuk. Or if you type in, I want to learn Instagram, it's going to give you all of the good content that's going to teach you how to learn Instagram. So it's going to be this curated system and this guided system that's going to know what kind of content you like more than others, and is going to know what, and you're going to tell it what you want to learn. And so it'll kind of guide you down this path. What else is out there? We've got scheduling softwares that are integrating. There is, you know, people are using them with restaurants so that people can sit down at a table, they pull out their phone, they pull out their messenger, they order with messenger, they pay with messenger, gets shipped back to the kitchen, and then all of a sudden, you know, out walks the waitress and delivers the food. So it's getting to where if you want the chatbot to integrate with another database, or you want the chatbot to kind of integrate and work like an app does, right? Everything that an app can do, a chatbot can pretty much basically do, given the amount, you know, the right amount of time and a smart enough coder. Like things are like that open. So these premium bots, you know, when you talk to a business, it can really get as creative as you want, right? So the way that I see these premium bots is that they should really serve a function, right? So I think about like if I were to create a premium bot for a personal trainer, I wouldn't want just the bot to deliver information, right? I would really want the bot to be like a BMI calculator that tracks their progress, that, you know, allows them to check in and input their macros and input their micros, and allows them to get all this data, right, from engaging with the bot. So instead of just being this kind of messaging system, it's actually a functional bot that provides some sort of real thing for it, right? Anyways, that's a little bit about the future of where it's going. So when I explain it to customers, right, it's more about asking them like what they need, and then I go, okay, so here's kind of the business that you have. Here's what we would do, and I'm really, maybe it's just me, like I'm good at going, oh, that's what your business is. Okay, here's what it should do, right? I was talking with a musician the other day. He has a lot of motivational music. And so I was like, oh man, if we were to build a bot for you, what we would do is we would make it like a motivational, like sidekick. What would happen is that, you know, everybody would, be able to interact with it and say, hey, I want to be motivated, or I want to be inspired, or I feel sad, or whatever it is. Like
Prince, I think it's Prince Ia. Is that his name? I don't know how to say his name. Prince, I don't know how to say his name. But his chatbot is like a suicide prevention chatbot because he gets so many messages that are just, you know, about the toughest stuff, that he's built a chatbot that will take in that information and then find appropriate you know, services and organizations for them to get help from. So what we talk about when we're explaining to them is, yeah, we can integrate it with other databases. It'll be smart, like it'll have NLP included into it, and then we can even, you know, host your own content, you know, somewhere, and it can, instead of having to host it on YouTube, or instead of having to keep it under, you know, 25 megabytes or something like that, or, you know, we really offer them the ability to be able to do that as well. Okay, let's see. So Anais says this is good. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be recorded. Any questions out there? So Raul says, can we use NLP or AI with ManyChat? I've heard that it's possible to string together, but it's kind of janky. Right now, chat feels the easiest to do with it. So that's what I would say. However, I you know, ManyChat does an amazing job of continuing to add new features, and they're opening up their dev tools. So I think once they really open up their API, I think it's off to the races. So not yet, but it will be soon. Yes. So integrating all of these, so like the premium bots, the reason that they cost so much is because these all require at least some level of coding, right? And the complexity obviously depends on the project and what's required. But at a premium bot, those all require something that frankly, like I can't, like not that I can't do, I don't want to spend the time to learn how to do, because there are people who have already learned that, who are way smarter than me, who are not as good at marketing, that would be willing to have me pay them so that they can just build. And so that's kind of what we've done. But this down here, they all do require coding for these lower level ones right here. All right, let's see. Okay, wow. All right, so it's 11:42. Okay, that was just packaging. We covered a little bit of pricing there too. Let's talk about that a bit here though, okay? So you can see here the price for the basic one says starting at $1,000. The advanced one starts at $3,000. And then our premium starts at $7,500, right? Now, notice that it says starts at, because this is what they get, right? This is what they get for $1,000. They want more, we can do it, but for every extra sequence, it's an extra fee, right? For every, right? So we have clear expectations of here's what you get. And the reason that we do that is twofold. We want to, once again, I know Kevin mentioned this, he said setting proper expectations is key. We want to let them know exactly what they are getting, right? I want to give them kind of the ingredients on the box. And then the second thing though, is we also want to kind of encourage them to go up a level to the next step, right? Because it's like, well, here's the thing. If I pay $1,000 for the basic one, that's $1,000 one time. We can build it in a month. We'll test it. You know, it probably takes 2 weeks to build. We'll test it. We'll break it in the 3rd week. We'll edit it and fix it in the 4th week and get it back to you by the end of the month, right? So that one is $1,000 for a month. Now this one here is $3,000, right? However, it's $1,000 a month. So it's only like, if you can afford the basic today, you can probably afford the advanced over the next 3 months, because it's just $1,000 a month. So notice that we also want to encourage them to utilize the higher features as well. So this is why we say starting at $3,000. And then they go, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And if it falls into these, well, for sure. Or if they go, hey, I want all of this, but I want one of these, or I want one, right? Well now it creates a baseline for us to say, okay, well, that's going to be that plus this. Or we can say, or we can even say, you know, there's been times where in order to close a deal, we go, normally we charge this for what you're asking, but since you want all this and we really want to work with you and we think that we can get you good results, what we'll do is we'll actually give you that as a bonus, completely complimentary, completely free, and you'll just do it at this price. How does that sound? And they're like, what? I'm in, right? I'm gonna get that for free, which I want. All right, sign me up. So what we like to do is we like to have different options so that people, right, have different levels at which they want to do. Because I mean, this is a totally different call, but when we get into the psychology of buyers, there's certain people who just fall into just certain ranges, right? And if you think about, like, there's certain people who, no matter what they get, need to have the biggest and the best, and they want the best of the best. And they've got the SUV, they've got the big chrome rims, they got the lions out front of their house, they got their name across their door. They are, you know, they want everybody to know that they've got the biggest and the best. And so they are that's part of their identity. So if you only have one package, you're gonna go, oh, well, okay. But now if you've got three and they go, okay, that big one, I want that, right? That's the one I want. And conversely, you'll also have people, you know, I think about like the Mark Zuckerberg, who has as much money as he ever have, and he wears the same thing every day. Because for him, if it's not absolutely like urgent, critical, he likes to keep it basic, right? And so for you, there's some of those people. I think about like the whole idea of the millionaire next door, right? Sometimes people, that is part of their identity, is buying basic. And so by having these different options, it's actually going to allow you to attract and to target different types of people based on their own personalities, right? Because trying to upsell that basic person into your $3,000 package, you've got to now show them how, right? If you want to do it that way, you've got to have a $3,000 package, a $6,000 package, and a $9,000 package, right? So that way that can now be the smallest one. But by having different options, it actually kind of plays on price psychology and allows people to kind of fit into where they want to, where they feel most comfortable based on who they see themselves as, right? So I say my basic bot start $1,000. That's because I've got a team, right? Like I've got to pay, you know, our sales guy. I've got to pay our graphics guy. I've got to pay our VAs. I've got to pay our chatbot developers. So that's why our basic ones start at $1,000. I don't see all of that. And granted, you know, my agency is really a machine that I want to build for myself, not necessarily for profit. So that's a whole different thing. But the point is that that's why I charge that much. You could say, hey, my basic bot, fuck you, Hector, I'm going to charge $300 for a basic bot. And I want whatever you want to charge, right? $400, $500. I've charged $200 for a basic bot because all I had to do was go in, change some links, change some pictures, and within 45 minutes, it was done and finished, and it was sent off to the customer. And so it can be profitable as well. That's for you to decide, right? And then you can base your advanced and your premium off of where you start your basic one. And maybe you don't even offer a premium, right? Because you can't code it, or you can just say, like, I want to just open invitation to all of you guys, right? If you have a bot and you have a customer or a client that's willing to pay you, okay, you're like, I don't know how to build it. You can come to our agency, and that's what we do, right? So even if you're like, man, I want to sell this, and it's not going to cost you necessarily $7,500 if you're bringing us the business, right? We have a different kind of, these are the prices that I give to clients, right? So anyways, my point is that by having different options, you actually allow it allows you to play on the price psychology and allows you to kind of hone in on what people actually want for themselves. All right. How are we doing? 48. All right. The show-offs. Gracie said that those are the show-offs. Yeah, you got to have something for everybody. Let's see if we have any other questions. Okay, so here's the pricing. So any other question on pricing? Here's what I would say in terms of like where did I get these prices? And these are based off of just kind of, they're just where I based it off of, right? Because this is kind of, you know, industry, I don't know. This is what I found people are willing to pay. Now, what I would tell you, and I would encourage you to go and say, screw what people are willing to pay, right? And to go out there and to do, I want to teach you a different one, which is called value-based pricing. Because this is probably closer to time-based pricing, right? This is kind of based on how much time it's going to require to build. However, you can also do something called value-based pricing, which is basically how much is this chatbot worth, right? How much is this chatbot worth? And the way that you base that off of is off of their lifetime value of a customer, right? I had a prospect reach out to me yesterday, and he's like, yeah, so average commission for our business is like $150 the first year, $150, $350, something like that the first year. And then over the lifetime value, almost $2,000. So what that means is that if a chatbot generates one of those clients for a business like that, every client that they generate is not just worth $200, but is actually worth almost $2,000. So now for you as a chatbot developer, you know, okay, well, every customer that you get is worth $2,000. Okay. So if I get you 10 customers, that's now $20,000 worth of revenue for you and your business, right? Well, if I get you 10 customers and I generate $20,000 for you, the rule of 10 is if I get you 10, doesn't it make sense for you to just pay me back 1? And the way that that works out is if I generate $20,000 for you and you only have to pay me $2,000 to get $20,000, aren't we cool? Isn't everybody win? Most businesses will go, yeah, that makes sense. Hell yeah. So you base it off of what their lifetime value is, and then you find out what you can actually generate for them, right? You go, okay, well, if I can generate 10 customers for you, that's going to equal $100,000 in revenue. Well, if it's $100,000 in revenue, that sounds like a $10,000 package, right? Because it's 10x, right? Or 1/10 of it. So there's time-based pricing, and then there's also value-based pricing, which I base off the power of 10. And we use a little bit of both, depending on kind of where the client is. Woo! All right, is this good stuff? I feel like this is good. I'm not always one to toot my horn, but I feel like this is good stuff. All right. So let's see here. So while we're talking about packaging, it says, Chris and Karen says, is it a good idea to co-op with a Facebook ad agency to isolate the business and focus on 100% delivery? You know, what I have found is that the agencies that scale and grow the fast have the largest or the most focus, right? They are most focused, right? And I have the challenge in like being focused because my intentions are not necessarily on quick growth and profits, frankly. My own intentions, and it's almost kind of sabotage, is to be able to impact the most amount of people in the most amount of industries and businesses before my time is done, right? So I'm kind of playing the long game. However, what I have found is that the agencies and that grow the most are super niched, super targeted, super focused, whether they hyper and drill into a niche or whether they hyper and drill into a particular service, right? So you could say, you know what, we only work with dentists, and you just zero in and you become the dentist master, and you dominate for dentists, and every single dentist that you talk to, you ask for referrals, and then you work with more and more dentists, and all of a sudden you're the dentist queen or the dentist king. That's one way to do it. The other way is to say, we build chatbots, or and look, and right now you have that opportunity to laser in and focus in, doing that right now. I feel like by the end of the year, by 2019, you're going to have to be niched into your chatbots. You're going to have to be like, well, we build chatbots for this particular industry, or we build chatbots that do this kind of cool thing. However, I do feel at the beginning that it is better to partner with somebody who is better at what you are doing, and either find an outside partner or bring someone onto the team that is good at that as well. I absolutely feel like that is a great move so that people can focus on their strengths. So Chris and Karen, great question. Sorry, it took me a little while to answer that one, but that was good. And then Karen asked if we set up their Facebook pixel on their website if they don't have it. If we're going to be driving traffic to their website, then we do. If we're not going to be driving traffic to their website, then we don't really worry about it unless we're going to be working with them long term. So that's what I would say. All right, we got about 5 more minutes left to cover pitching. So I feel like we're gonna have to save this for the next call. So I'm gonna take a minute and just stop here and ask if there's any questions. So I'm going to let's see if I can allow. So if anybody has questions, there's actually a button. If you guys are here on the live Zoom, you guys can raise your hand if you guys want to chime in or throw a question into the chat. So Jay Daniel, boom.
Hello?
Hey, we can hear you.
Hey, what's going on? So, yeah, my question was, how do you frame it? Like when somebody else is doing your fulfillment, like you are and your team, how do you frame that where it's not somebody on your team, but it's like another agency?
We work with someone, our developer, our team, they're still your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely still your team. So with something like that, I mean, it's not too like, now I would never encourage lying or going about it really like covertly to make like, but most people don't care that it's being outsourced for one thing, if with given certain things, right? Because if you think about it, they can't expect you to build a bot, create graphics, create the ads, manage them, go out and it almost, if you can say, well, our team or our developers are going to create something like this and whatever, and what you do want to be though is the liaison between the developer and between the client though, right? Because that will at least allow you to still keep some of that, just to keep that I don't want to say facade is the wrong word, but to be able to keep that frame, like you said, like it's you who's doing it. So that's how I would just say is that whenever you're pitching it, you just talk about your team, your developers, my guy, my chap, you know what I mean? Like, and they, whether you're an independent contractor and you're contracting us, or whether it's someone who is actually working, you're an employee on their team, they don't really care that far. You just want to make sure that you maintain the relationship with the client and be that kind of go between the developer. I wouldn't just hand off the unless you really know the are really trusting of the client and the developer, and that's kind of what the developers do. I would make sure that you just keep that relationship strong so that you can communicate in between them.
Okay, and one more thing on top of that. So this is like, I was looking at a service agreement and it said the person, the company or the agency that's designing, that's responsible for this, designing this, it said to put in a business name. Would I put like my company, which is like J-Metrics, or would I put like yours, which is like HT Marketing? In that case, would it be like mine's and
Yo, it's yours. That's like at least for a white label, right?
Yeah.
What we provide is we're gonna make your business look fucking awesome. You don't have to give us credit. This is like now there are companies who are like, well, if we're gonna build it, we're gonna get the shine. You know what I mean? Like, and then that's one thing. But at least what we're talking about, what a lot of white labels do, is it's just the contract is between you and the customer, and then you have a separate contract between you and the developer.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yep. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Cool. Dope. All right, guys. Any other questions? You guys can. I'm gonna see if there's any hands that were raised. Karen asked if I'm using the word chatbot when I pitch. No, I'm not. Right? I don't use that when I pitch, because most of the time the chatbot is not really what they care about. What they care about is they care about leads. What they care about is they care about appointments. What they care about is registrations, people walking in the door, new members, sales. So what I talk to them about, here is a system that we utilize to be able to get you more of what you want, right? So let's see here. Like, this is a very elementary thing, but there was one time where someone, I don't do all the sales, so I didn't have a pitch deck ready. But instead of a pitch deck, here's literally what I did. And they were like, all right, that sounds good. As I pulled this up, I'm like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in and we're gonna find your ideal client. We're gonna do all the targeting. And this gave me an opportunity to talk about demographics and all the cool things that you can do with Facebook targeting. And then I go, and then we're gonna put together a Facebook ad. We can use videos, pictures, carousels. This allows me to show them some ads that I've created in the past. And then, Mr. Business Owner, what we're going to do is we're going to actually create a follow-up. We're going to actually send them reminders to the people who didn't take the action that you wanted. We're going to do it right through Facebook Messenger. And then we can deliver specials. We can send pictures or videos of things that are going on in your business. And if you wanted to, Mr. Business Owner, because if you guys make people call you, we can actually put a button right on their phone that allows them to call. Now, what you do, Mr. Business Owner, is all you do is you have to help them become a member when they actually walk into your place of business or when they register or whatever it is. And then after that, what we can do is we can even get feedback and turn them into a raving fan. So, Mr. Business Owner, what really all that we're asking out of you in this process is to handle this green part. We'll take care of all of the rest. Do you think that you can handle the green part? Oh yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. Well, the rest of it is done by us. What do you think? Right? Like that's in a nutshell how I pitch messenger bots. There's no bots, there's no nothing. It's like it's just very much top level stuff so that they can understand how just what is going on. They don't need to understand how it works. They just need to understand what is going on for sure. Yes, so Chris and Karen said we should focus on the results of the chatbot. Yes, I find that if you focus on the results of the chatbot, you'll have much happier clients, and then you'll also be able to command a higher price, because there were tons of people who were like, yeah, we'll make a website for you. Yep, here we go. I'll make a website. And then the people, they had a website, and then all of a sudden they thought that because they had this website that now it would convert people, or they got to a website and they would be getting sales or whatever it is, when that is a totally different thing. And you can be a chatbot just builder, and you can say, hey, we'll just build you a basic chatbot and it's a couple $100 and whatever it is. We're not going to, it's a very limited strategy or limited whatever. And it's just, it'll get you set up. So at least you're up and running. And the thing is that there will need to be that capability out there. There will need to be those businesses and those people who want to just buy something simple and basic, and they don't, unfortunately, they don't really care about getting conversions. However, what I would do is focus on the results of the chatbot, not necessarily like they should see it, right? Like the next training next week, we'll talk about specifically the pitch. So they'll see it, right? They'll see how it works for sure, but top level, this is really what they need to understand is going on. And specifically, they need to know what their role is. And we go, here's everything that's happening out of it. This is just you. And they're like, oh, I know how to do that. I know how to run a gym. I know how to close it, whatever. So that makes it really valuable in that regard. Great questions, Chris and Karen. Y'all are awesome. All right, let me check the chat one more time. Okay, cool. So it looks like that's a lot of what I want to cover today. I like to keep these trainings nice and tight to an hour so that you guys can run with them and implement them and execute on them. And if you guys are catching this on Facebook and this is out in the group, let me know if this was valuable and you want more of this, because this is a sneak peek that you guys, I don't even know what compelled me to do it, but I wanted to throw some more value into the group. This is only for our accelerators who are on live here. We've got about 14 people on live. Amy, Anais, Audric, Karen, Colin, Gracie. So I love all of you guys for being in the program and showing up live. And so anyways, if you're catching this on Facebook by any chance and you want information on the accelerator program, drop an emoji and I'll get you all that. If you're in the accelerator program, okay, our next live call is Tuesday. All right, they're every Tuesday and every Thursday unless something crazy happens. Okay, you can just anticipate them. I'm trying to get better with creating events and reminders and stuff. But Tuesdays afternoons at 4 p.m. That one is going to be another training where we're going to go into the pitch specifically. And then Thursday morning, a week from today at 11 a.m. we will go over. Have just an open Q&A for you accelerator members and just an open mastermind as well. So I love all y'all. This is all I got for today. It is so many good problems, but I must stay busy. So for all you guys who are out there and things are slow, if you feel like you're not where you need to be, keep going. Okay, I remember that place, and it was like all I was like telling myself was like keep putting one step in front of the other, one step in front of the other, and it's like pumping a well, right? If you've ever pumped a water pump, right? The first pump, nothing happens. The second pump, nothing. Third, nothing. Fourth, 15th, nothing. 16th, and then all of a sudden it starts to pump a little bit, and then After a while, to keep the water pumping, you just need to maintain it. So right now, those of you guys who are building, understand that the building process is not always like the maintaining process, right? There are levels to this. So fight through this, whatever it is, whether it's a learning curve or even if it's like a sales curve where you need to go out there and you've like got the knowledge and you just need to go out there and tell people about it, fight through it, take action, start building, and go out there and build some bots. All right, that's all I got. What do you got on my pedestal? See you later.